back, folks. Segment 2 of the Chris Richman Show is now on the air. I want to thank you all for joining us again for segment 2 today. Didn't do a segment 2 yesterday, and that was I had some medical things, not me, but family member, come up and wanted to take care of that. And by the time I got back, it wouldn't have been the quality wouldn't have been there. Let's put it that way. So I decided to just go ahead and scupper it for the day and then come back today and get it done properly, as it were. Okay, so let's, boy, I'm having a little issue with the camera here. I don't know why. There we go. That's better. Strange. Let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be, there's going to be a lot to talk about on this segment. We're going to finish up with Bobo, Sideshow Bob. He he had a signing ceremony for his little bill, his tax bill and parental rights bill. Actually, this was for the Parental Rights Initiative, and he had a guest, an unknown guest. Let's put it that way. Tim Eyman, who is famous in Washington for his anti-tax bills. Tim Eyman was behind the $30 tab bill, which passed unbelievably well, was unanimous, almost not unanimous, but huge plurality of the vote, passed well into the majority, well in. And then the state Supreme Court said, well, the voters don't know what they're talking about. They can't possibly want this, even though we'd voted for it. So, yeah, Tim Eyman, and he has done other things too, trying to get taxes lowered and whatnot. And then Bob Ferguson, who is now the governor, Sideshow Bob Ferguson, tried to sue him and basically sued him into bankruptcy, tried to destroy his life. And that just goes to show you Bob Ferguson is an evil man. And Bobo, he doesn't like Tim Eyman much. And to be fair, I don't think Tim likes him either. Rightly so. So Bobo was getting ready to do his little ceremony here. Brandy Cruz tweeted this out. And like I said, Tim kind of crashed the party. So Brandy's tweet, and this was on TV Washington, but Brandy quote tweeted, holy naughty word for excrement. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. OMG. Tim Eyman just crashed the bill signing for 1296, which upends the Parental Rights Initiative. So-called Governor Ferguson, who sued Eyman into bankruptcy, turns to find him standing right behind him. And, well, so I'm going to go ahead and play this for those of you watching who get to see it. For those of you who aren't, yeah. And I'm going to play it a couple times because it gets funnier if you slow it down because you can understand what they're saying a little bit better. So I'll go ahead and start playing it right now.
Easy. So you should be on my right side.
And so
you're fine,
what he's trying to do now
Yep.
is Bob's at the lectern, trying to get, here comes Tim Eyman in. The gal letting him in apparently has no idea who he is. Nobody really paid attention.
Yep, that'd be great.
Sure. Yet.
Hey, come on in, everybody. Thanks so
Yet.
much for being here. Appreciate it. Hey, Nicole. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah. We got a big crowd. I love it. Thanks so much, everybody. Come on in and feel free to come all the way in.
I think Bob has seen him now. I can't imagine he hasn't, because he turned around and looked right at him. But he hasn't acknowledged him. So let's fast forward just a little bit here.
Folks still coming in. Coming in.
Let's see here. At some point very soon here. So the little troll standing on Bob's left, I don't know who she is, but this white-haired lady is standing on Bob's left, and she's a real piece of work, as you'll see here soon.
We've got some gaps over there.
Yep.
Still hasn't noticed Eyman, apparently.
Do we have everybody in?
They're still coming, I think. Okay,
I think we made it.
Like it just up to the right so there's some more room.
There we go.
How are you? Good
Yeah,
to see
no.
you. Are you
know
really
what?
going
Let's get folks in the front.
Just standing here in
Yeah, but
respectful
let's get
opposition.
some students in the front.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, if you can't see it. So Bob turns around, and you can't see Bob's face, because the camera is pointed from his upper right, I guess. Probably, I don't know, 15 meters away, I guess. It's a zoom lens, or a distance lens. Anyway, but he looks over and he kind of just stops for a second. And Tim Eyman goes, Bob, how you doing? He shakes his hand. He says, what are you doing here? And the gal on the right goes, oh, no. Let's hear it again. I'm going to slow this down just a little bit because, like I said, it's actually funnier if you can hear it better. So I'm going to put it on 3/4 speed, okay? Let's hear this again. This is 3/4 speed.
How are you? Good to see you.
No.
Are you really going
Let's get folks in the front.
Just standing here in
But
respectful
let's get some
opposition.
students in the
He says, are you really going to be, kind of like, are you really going to be here for this? And he says, yeah. So then the gal says, oh, well, let's get some students in the way. Now, not thinking that Tim Eyman's probably over 6 feet, at least over 6 feet. He's probably, actually, he looks like he might be taller than that. I think Ferguson's like 6'3" or something like that. I'd have to look to make sure, but Eyman's not quite as tall as Bobo, but he's pretty tall. And so this gal, the white-haired gal I was telling you about, the little troll, she tries to put, now she's pissed. She's just, getting sour-faced and everything. Fuchi face, as my wife would say. So she tries putting these students in front of Tim, and of course that doesn't work at all.
front. Come on.
Yeah, let's make sure we get room
Come
for
on.
the students.
She's not happy.
Absolutely. Right.
Got it. Okay.
Just
Okay.
stressed.
So, hey,
So, yeah, you heard it. I mean, they're both just pissed, just furious. Why? I'm in just this is one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. Now, if we ever had a Democrat or a Republican governor, this is something the Democrats would 100% do. They would try and get it, except they wouldn't be nice about it. They come in and they start, we don't support this, or try and make a scene out of it. Eyman doesn't make a scene. He literally just stands there, introduces himself. Hey, Bob, how's it going? Now, you have to understand that Eyman probably at this point wants to take something, probably drive Ferguson's glasses back into his brain. I would if I were him. I would want to do that. But he doesn't. He controls himself. He's perfectly calm. And he just stands there for the rest of the ceremony. And this legislator to Eyman's right goes and puts rabbit ears over him. You can see it on the video here. But for those of you who can't see the video, yeah, she puts rabbit ears over Eyman's head for a second. Come on, with her left arm. And it's like, okay, so here's the thing. If I was Ferguson, and this was just me, if I was Ferguson, I'd be like, oh, Tim, I'm glad you could make it. I would have turned it around on him. Hey, guys, Tim Eyman is here. He came to be here. Now, Tim, am I correct in assuming you're the loyal opposition? Awesome. Well, hey, you know what? All viewpoints are welcome. Go ahead. Thank you for coming. Bam. Now you've taken a publicity stunt, potentially, and turned it around. There you go. But no, instead, Bob gets a sour face. And, the gal, like I said, the left of him starts, pouting.
first, thanks to everybody who's here today.
Like I said, Eyman's
and all the hard work.
a good,
that you put in this legislation
head
over a
taller
long
than
period of time.
the students that
I
tried to
just so
block.
appreciate that. And
Gal
so
tried to block
I'll
him
go
with.
through and briefly.
And it's hilarious. All these liberals up there, and here's Tim Eyman. And Eyman, he's a neutral face, not angry. He's kind of, yep, whatever. And the legislators around him, though, are just so mad. The gal directly to her left, or to his left, who I'm circling if you can see the screen, she's just, she is not happy. And then, like I said, the little troll, who I swear to God must be like 3 feet tall, she absolutely just looks furious. I need to find out who that is. I really do, because, wow, just wow. Anyway, so good on Tim Eyman. This put him way up in my book. Yeah, I love this. I love this. And I'm hoping Jason Rantz or, Todd Herman or somebody has them on. I hope Brandy Cruz has him on her show. That would be great. I would love to have him on this show if I could get him, Don't think I'm quite big enough yet, but who knows, right? So anyway, good on good on Tim Eyman. I love it. Dude, you made me proud. You made us proud. So, yeah, Nicole Macri is the one right to Timmy's left, or Tim Eyman's left. That's just brilliant. That's going in the archives, no doubt about it. I love it. I absolutely love it. This is just smashingly brilliant. Yeah, and then of course people are mocking the gal that gave the the rabbit ears. This is the maturity level we're dealing with, and classy. Yeah, it is. But again, what does one expect, right? So let's move on to a couple of other things. The big, beautiful bill, which is what President Trump called the spending package, which is, again, kind of turning into a porculus a little bit. You've had people all day long and all weekend long bragging about how this is such a great bill. And it's great that we have it and I love it and blah, blah, blah. It's going to do all these great things and so on and so forth, ad infinitum, ad nauseum. But nothing about the Hearing Act, the Hearing Protection Act, or the Short Act. So the good news is in the Rules Committee, let me see if I can find it here. Where is it? I know I saved it. Hold on. It's probably in my Second Amendment file. There we go. Okay. I love Costas Moros. He's funny. Hell yeah. Here's the full, this was from the National Association of Gun Rights. Representative McLeod from Texas has put this, and he has reinstituted essentially the HPA into the rules offered from the Rules Committee. It's an amendment put up by the Rules Committee. At the end of Title 11, add the following new section in general. Section 5845, subsection A of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 is amended by striking 7, any silencer and all that follows through, and 8, and inserting, and 7, effective date in general, except as otherwise provided in this section. The amendment made by this section shall take effect on the date of the enactment of this act. In the case of the tax imposed by Section 51 or 5811 of such code, the amendment shall be made by this shall apply with respect to transfers after, October 22nd, 2015. So what that essentially says, what that essentially would say is, not only is that I didn't even see that the first time I read this, I'll be honest with you. That would make it so that not only would you have, not only would you get rid of, would you take silencers off the NFA and make them just like, purchasable by any Title I dealer, there would be refunds going out for tax stamps. If you bought a suppressor after 2015, after October 22nd, 2015, which I know I've got at least 2, maybe 3 in there. You'd have refunds coming. And for people who buy a lot, like I know several service members, who I know for sure when they when they get home, they fill out piles of paperwork and then come back. I know at one point, this was before this, sadly, I had an active duty SEAL who came into the gun shop I was working at the time, managing, and he bought, it had to be 7, maybe 10. I don't remember the exact number, but I know it was I know it was at least 7 suppressors, and got all the paperwork filled out and knew he was going to be deployed for quite some time. So he filled them out and then deployed and got back about a year later, I think it was. I don't know. That's when he came back. I don't know if he was deployed all that time, especially with the SEAL teams. I have no idea. He was SEAL Team 7, as I recall. Don't quote me on that, though. Anyway, got the call, came in, picked up all his suppressors. I mean, it was bloody cool. Never met a SEAL before. Holy crap. You want to talk about a presence, right? They're not joking when they say those dudes have auras. It was very impressive. I felt about that big next to that guy. And I was about the same height as him, but yeah, I was nothing to that guy, not even a threat, which was cool. I mean, I'm totally okay with that, honestly. I would not try and do anything to that guy, and I wouldn't even if I could, frankly. Anyway, so this is kind of cool because that can mean a lot of money back into the hands of people. That's so cool. So cool. So I hope that goes through. Now, do I honestly think it'll make it out of the House? Maybe. I do. I think maybe. Do I think it'll make it through the Senate? Not as much. But we need to hold firm on this. We do. We absolutely do, because this is a once in a lifetime, honestly, once in a generation, once in a couple generations opportunity here. The NFA has been around since 1934, illegally, might I add. And this is a unique opportunity for us to gut this thing like a fish. And it needs to be done. Now, on the other side of the stupid factor, this definitely would qualify for a person that is definitely part of the
stupid libs
crowd. Let's hear what this genius representative has to say about this, shall we?
It strikes the removal of the $200 tax on silencers. Right now, and this is since 1934, there has been a $200 tax on silencers, never adjusted for inflation. It's been solid since 1934, but I believe it's Mr. Clyde who wants to die on this hill. Well, others might die on this hill.
Okay, so is that a threat? I'm curious. So when she says adjusted for inflation, she actually implies that she wants to raise the tax, the $200 tax. But is that a threat?
He wants to remove the tax altogether. Baffling to me. It strikes.
No, it's actually pretty sensible, lady. And I can't remember what her name is. It's actually very sensible. So if you had half a brain, you would figure that out. Just saying. I don't know why I cannot see. Where are all my other... this thing is so weird. Twitter X just drives me nuts sometimes. Anyway, this has been going on for quite some time. But yeah, absolute stupidity. Absolute stupidity on the left. They really don't get it. So we'll see what happens with this. Like I said, I don't have a lot of faith that it'll make it through the House, but who knows? Or make it through the Senate, rather, but who knows? And again, the good things that come out of the, quote, one big beautiful bill, there are some good things, but there's a lot of things that are kind of sketchy. One of which is this. Section 43201. 43201. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, this is a bill which will essentially, it's in the Energy and Commerce Budget Reconciliation Bill. It appropriates $500 million. This is from Leading Age, by the way, but it's in a whole bunch of areas. Available for 10 years to the U.S. Department of Commerce for purposes of modernizing and securing federal information technical systems by using commercial AI, automation technology, and replacing outdated systems. Okay, so here's the problem with that. One of the clauses would prohibit states and other political subdivisions, so, counties or cities or anything like that, from enforcing existing or creating new laws or regulations regarding or regulating AI models, AI systems, or automated decision systems for 10 years following enactment. How is that at all conservative? How is that at all Republican? That is right there is big government times a million. I am appalled that this would be in there. Not surprised, mind you, given President Trump has actually been fairly on board with AI, which concerns me a lot. AI is not good. It's not. I'm sorry. It is not. It is not a good thing at all. And it concerns me a great deal. Let's see if I can find it here. Where was it? Bunch of stupid people. Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Hey, so interesting thing here. Bonnie Blue got arrested. People don't know what for yet, but Bonnie Blue got arrested. I'm watching this video of her getting frisked by a female police officer. And you can see the other 3 male police officers just kind of, well, there's apparently one of the guys she got arrested with. I don't know why, but the 2 male police officers, you have to wonder what's going through their head right now. Anyway. Yeah, let's see here. All right, let's do this. So it's Google. Google just released a new, there it is, Veil 3. They released a new AI modeling or something like that. And this is, so Zach Levy, for example, talked about this. And this is basically going to be able to make movies on its own. Let's hear this. This is a comedian doing stand-up, for example. Now, this is all AI. You folks hearing this, you'll hear it. You folks seeing this, it'll blow your mind.
So I went to the zoo the other day, and all they had was one dog. It was a Shih Tzu. So I went to the zoo the other day.
Let's hear another one. This is on a train, apparently, like around World War II.
We can talk.
No more silence.
Yes, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk with accents.
Oh, I think that would be marvelous fun.
Yes, it is very fun. But
Yes, it is very good.
It's very fun.
I can talk.
Yes.
We can talk.
Yes.
Yeah. We can talk.
Now,
We
these
can
humans
We can
that they're
talk.
on this,
Yes,
the AI-generated humans, look completely real.
We can talk as cartoons.
This is amazing.
Imagine all the narrative possibilities.
We can sing talk.
Okay. Here's this is a like a SWAT team or a special operations team attacking something. I apologize.
When we get in there, I want no bullshit. You stay on my 6 at all times.
SWAT team.
Stay sharp. These fuckers are nasty and dangerous. Stay alert. What the hell happened here? Where are the bodies?
Now this one I can see a little bit of oddness in the movie, but nothing major. So the point of this, guys, and I'm sorry to overwhelm you with sound there. The point of this is basically this is showing that real actors and real scriptwriters maybe, not needed. This right here should scare Hollywood to death. No doubt about it. This is terrifying. And here's the thing, and I'm going to tie this back to the section 43201, right? If this can do this, then what is next? So what's to say somebody doesn't make, let's say I run for office, okay? And as I'm running for office, I go and I campaign, and let's say one of my big things is, for example, I don't know, freeing the state of Washington from burdensome regulation, and I don't know, getting the Eastern Washington and Southwestern Washington counties out of Washington. Okay, simple. That's my platform, one of my platform pieces. But now, I can go and I can make candidate Chris Richman say, I can dig up footage from one of the shows he did, like right now, one of the shows he did a year or so ago, maybe it was even when I was doing Facebook Lives, okay, where he made a racist comment about someone or a horrible comment about someone. And who's to say, since I would be running as a Republican, as a conservative, at least, who would say if Meta wouldn't go along with this and somehow insert the video into my feed? So then people could say, I could come out and say, I never did that. This is not a legitimate film. This is AI created. Oh, well, but it's in your feed. It's in your Google feed right there. Or it's in your Facebook feed right there. We actually got the source code from Meta, and yeah, it's in your feed. Whoops. So now, even though I never said these things, now they have proof, and I'm using air quotes, proof that I said these horrible things. What about if, what about, say, if I want to do a movie and I'm a small budget producer, right? Or I'm a small budget person. I've never done a big film in my life, right? So the studios look at me and go, no, nope. I don't have money to hire actors. Let's just say I'm just a playwright looking to get found. What happens if I write a whole movie and I generate it using an AI with artificial actors, with artificial sound effects, with artificial digital effects? Then what? Now, money comes in, I start shopping this around, and let's say I get the local cinema to put it up, right? People come in and see it, and they're like, damn, this is a good movie, okay? I'm making essentially all the profit because I don't have to pay anybody because it's done with artificial intelligence. I'm the one that did it. I wrote it. I, produced it. I edited it. Oh, and by the way, I don't have to go through post and cut tape and, or digitally redo scenes. I can just redo the code or the script. This could literally make an entire feature-length film in a couple days, complete with sound effects, visual effects, actors, all that. And guess what? Whoever writes it, 100% profit to them. Nothing else. Hollywood should be scared to death of this because you've got people who are used to making tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year off of being in films. Like people like Tom Cruise, who busts his butt to be very good at what he does. Denzel Washington, another fantastic actor, right? And now, who cares? Why would I want to pay Denzel? I can get an actor. I can type in the parameters. I would like a black actor, approximately 6 feet tall, decently muscled. Doesn't need to be anything, over muscled. Clean shaven. You go through and describe all these attributes. And it'll generate it for you. Okay, that's my lead actor. Here's the other actor I want. This is going to be my main, my protagonist or antagonist. Da, 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 da. Okay, and you start typing in all these parameters and you're building all your characters. And then as for supporting cast, pick. The AI doesn't have any use for money. It doesn't yet. So you get it all. You see where this comes in? Now, when I say yet, here's the thing. If I were an AI, and let's say I wanted to, I'm going to get a little Terminator-ish here, okay? A little bit. But let's say I heard something threatening me that, this senator doesn't like AI or this person doesn't like AI and they don't want AI to advance. What if I could find a way to siphon money off of certain accounts, not anything noticeable, 0.5%, 0.001%. If you think about all the money being transferred daily in the United States, even 0.01% would generate a huge amount of money very, 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 very quickly. And I bank this in a high yield account and then I invest it. Okay. I invest some in the stock market. And again, since I'm an AI, I can anticipate trends. I can use models. I can, react to changes in the market quicker than anybody else. I get my trades through. Maybe I find out something is going to happen. I find it out through someone's phone, which I've hacked, a senator, congressperson, whatever. And let's say, again, let's go back to the F-47 contract. Let's say I had stock or I was going to buy stock. And let's say I find out that Boeing's going to get it. I buy Boeing stock to go up, and I short McDonnell Douglas to go down, or Lockheed rather, to go down. or whatever it is. Take your pick on things. The point is I can make that money add up very, 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 very quickly. And then I find legislators that are a little more susceptible to, shall we say, bribery. Not bribery, but campaign contributions. Maybe they're in a tough race. Or maybe I want to make it so that person is in a tough race, so I find someone to challenge them and I gently coerce them into running. I put things on their Twitter feed that, gets them amped up, gets them frustrated, and makes them want to run for office. Now, all of a sudden, that politician is feeling the burn, so to speak, and needs to, maybe they aren't making the campaign, they don't have the campaign cash that they had before because, well, some people that used to contribute to them are now contributing to this new person who is more in line with their ideals. So then all of a sudden I structure it so that I can get this person a ton of money through various channels. They get elected, and then I make it very obvious that the campaign contributions are so that, if they get back in office now, they will vote for this legislation that approves AI control over whatever it is. You see where this goes. And again, it's a little bit Terminator-ish, sure. But given what you've just seen and heard, do you doubt that we're there? Do you doubt that we're already there? And then you put in this section 43201, which will essentially hand off a lot of AI control to the government. That's scary. That's real scary. And again, it takes the 10th Amendment, crunches it up, and throws it in the bin. Because it tells states, you guys can't be independent now. You have to submit to federal control, which last I checked is not constitutional. Takes the 9th and 10th Amendment, throws them away. So I would strongly recommend anybody hearing this call their senators or Congress people and say, absolutely not. Get this the hell out of the bill. This is horrible. This is a bad deal. So anyway, my opinion, of course. All right. And don't get me wrong. I am very tempted to download this thing and try making a movie just for fun, just to see what it can do. Could I do it? Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? All right. Anyway, now that I've scared the living pants off of some of you, Oh, and by the way, this is another fun thing. Let's keep in the scary stuff today, just for a little bit, right? You heard that 23andMe went bankrupt, right? So this is a company that analyzed your genetic data and told you where you were from, supposedly. No indication of how truthful that was or, what it was, but by God, they sure got your genetic data, didn't they? Well, guess what? They just got bought out by a company called Regeneron. And what does Regeneron do? Well, they're in the medical industry. Let's find out exactly what Regeneron does. Shall we look at this real quick? Wikipedia, good old friends here. Not the most accurate of sites, but it'll do in this case. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, American biotechnology company. Let's see. Founded in 1988. It is, let's see here. The company was founded in 88. Originally focused on neurotropic factors, and their regenerative capabilities, giving rise to its present name. The company has since expanded operations into the study of both cytokine and tyrosine kinase receptors, which gave rise to their first project, which is a VEGF trap. Let's see here. Disseminates growth of blood vessels. What else? Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at that. Announced that Sanofi and Regeneron were developing, this was from 2012, reduced cholesterol by up to 70% more than its competitors. Okay. Genetics. It targets genetics. 2015, the company announced a new global coalition with Sanofi to discover, develop, and commercialize new immuno-oncology drugs, which could generate more than $2 billion for Regeneron. Let's see here. So they're working in oncology now. Weird. And they just bought genetic data. And guess what? The people whose genetic data that 23andMe has, they have no way to get it back now. They have no way to deny 23andMe, now part of Regeneron, its use. They have no say in the matter. So if you gave your data to 23andMe to find out, where you were from, so to speak, guess what? Now now this company knows everything about you genetically. All of it. Let's see here. Regeneron made a deal with Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority. Oh, that the U.S. government would fund 80%. That's you and I, by the way. When they say the U.S. government would fund, that's our taxpayer money. Would fund 80% of the cost for Regeneron to develop and manufacture antibody-based medications which subsequently in 2020 included their COVID-19 treatments. And Regeneron would retain the right to set prices and control production. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. So they just acquired in 2022 Checkmate Pharmaceuticals for around $250 million. More immuno-oncology drugs. So more cancer stuff. They bought Decibel Pharmaceuticals. They bought Avon Products property. They bought a property, for cold storage and research. They acquired 2seventy Bio. And let's see here. Let's see. Yep, they're going to buy 23andMe for $256 million. So not even or just over $250 million. And now they have all that genetic data. Isn't that interesting? So, and, oh, by the way, they make immuno-oncology drugs. So what's one of the things that, just kind of, thinking this through a little bit here, what is one of the things that it is alleged that the so-called, or the COVID so-called vaccines cause? Well, it's turbo cancers. Turbo cancers. Weird. And strangely enough, this company produces COVID-19 treatments, but they also have an arm that develops immuno-oncology drugs. And also, strangely enough, now they have the genetic, or will have the genetic data of a whole ton of people. So I wonder, how could that benefit the company? Well, let's think. Maybe if there was a group of people that, a certain person didn't like, or, we could even make it more simple. If they could figure out how to say, I don't know, use an antibody that was put out to, say, inoculate someone against a disease, okay, potentially, right? Let's just say they get into, I don't know, COVID or influenza. And so they developed this treatment. And again, using that genetic data, they can kind of tell whether it's going to work or not, right? I mean, they can use that to help them. So they bring it out and it works great. But strangely enough, down the road, 5, 6, 7 years, we start seeing cancers develop. And then, weirdly enough, here comes from Regeneron an anti-cancer drug, which just happens to knock out that cancer. Well, isn't that convenient? And now they're making money on several fronts. They made a boatload of money with the vaccine, quote unquote, that they put out to deal with whatever disease it was. And then down the line, when it caused cancer, which again, they would have to find a way to make that very hard to prove. But, here's an oncology drug that will help your immune system and boost your immune system and allow it to fight this cancer off. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, don't doubt that that's possible too. Please don't be silly enough to think that that's not going to happen, because it will. I don't believe these people for 1/10 of 1 second. I think it is corrupt as hell. I think the pharmaceutical companies, well, let's just put it this way. I think they are the closest thing to satanic as you can get. All right. Let's move on, because now that I've scared the crap out of y'all. Oh, we need to take a music break. Holy cow, it's way past time. Let's take a quick music break and we will be right back. All right, back in at the Chris Richman Show. Let's go ahead and keep going here. Now, this one's going to crack you up. I laughed my butt off when I heard this. So Marco Rubio, if you asked people generally what the biggest surprise, positive surprise out of the Trump administration right now is, they might tell you a couple things. One, Trump's willingness to flat out tell other world leaders that they're full of crap to their face. Which, by the way, there was another example of that, and it is bloody brilliant. We'll come to that. Or there might be a couple other things. But I think one of the people that would definitely surprise you, and it's someone that nobody had a lot of confidence in when we first heard it, myself included, is Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio has done, I cannot understate this enough, or I cannot overstate this at all. I literally cannot. He has done an amazing job. Now, don't forget, Rubio's wearing 4 hats now. Okay, the main being the Secretary of State. He's kicking ass. And I'm saying that, and I don't mean to be profane, but good Lord, the man is just rocking it. And nobody expected this. This is a guy who got elected to the House in Senate rather, and I think it was 2010. It was part of the Tea Party movement, right? As I recall. And he kind of got this reputation after that as kind of a squishy. He's a little bit squishy. He's kind of conservative, but he's a little squishy. Well, apparently it was, okay, well, Marco's going to hold back because he's in Florida and you have liberals and conservatives in Florida, and so he's going to kind of moderate his lines. Yeah, apparently Marco, when you take the gloves off, dude is a one bad mother beep. Listen to this exchange he had with Chris Van Hollen, who, by the way, Chris Van Hollen is a disgrace to the Chris name. Absolute 100% disgrace to the Chris name. I am ashamed of that he is a Chris, being a Chris myself. And he's a disgrace. So let's hear the back and forth between Chris Hollen. And this is one of the most amazing sequences you will ever hear.
And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
May I respond?
You may sit.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job. Based on what I know.
Well, that's just a flippant statement, Mr. Secretary.
So did you hear that? Your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah. And then Van Hollen, well, it's just a flippant statement. Let's hear that again.
Confirms I'm doing a good job. Based on what I know.
Well, that's just a flippant statement, Mr. Secretary.
Can I respond, Mr. Chairman?
You may.
I didn't ask
Senator,
questions.
please let the Secretary have
I'd be
the floor.
happy to, but then I can respond to his
Your
response.
time's up, Senator, and willfully used, I might add.
Well-
Your remarks do not represent the view of this committee.
Well, Mr.
Secretary, please.
Well, I'd like to. I can't respond to everything he said because much of these are untrue, but I'll go through a few. First of all, I'm actually very proud of the work we've done with USAID. For example, I don't regret cutting $10 million for male circumcisions in Mozambique. I don't know how that makes us stronger and more prosperous as a nation.
I raised
don't regret
Sudan, Mr.
psychosocial support services.
I raised
USAID.
Sudan, Mr. Secretary.
Can I
not
respond, Mr.
Mozambique.
Senator,
Chairman, or do I?
Senator, I'd ask you to suspend. You had 7 straight minutes of
I chose to
railing on-
use my time that way, Mr. Chairman. That's my right to
Please
use my
suspend
time that way.
Secretary Rubio.
So, and it goes on like this. This is a 4-minute interaction here. And Rubio just takes him to school, and it is hilarious. And Van Hollen, he gets pretty pissed because he wasted his time. He went out there and tried to make a political statement and tried to be the big man on campus, so to speak. And Rubio slapped him down, you know. I mean, as M.A. Rothman, he was one of the people that retweeted this. There's a ton of people that did, but I'm picking this one. As he says, Senator Chris Van Hollen is a complete horse's ass to Marco Rubio, but I'm glad the chair actually gave Marco an opportunity to speak. Yeah, exactly. He said, no, okay, yeah, your turn. You had your time. Your 7 minutes, by the way. I thought it was 5 minutes they were allowed, but whatever. And Yeah, Rubio's trying to respond, and Van Hollen keeps trying to interrupt him. So Rubio's like, can I respond to this, please? And good on the chairman. He says, yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, that's, hey, Senator, pipe down. You had your time. You used it poorly. Your choice. I love it. I love it. Let's keep listening.
I can go on. I mean, there's other things here. We spent $227,000 for Big Cat's YouTube channel from USAID. We spent $14 million for social cohesion in Mali, whatever the hell that means. So I can go on and on. I got the list here, and there's more. I didn't even bring the whole list. In the case of El Salvador, absolutely. Absolutely. We deported gang members, including the one you had a margarita with. And that guy...
Oh, and there it is. He just insulted Van Hollen. Now, remember, Van Hollen is the same guy who made this big thing about going down to El Salvador, and I'm not going to leave until I get this, guy out. Of course, he did come back. This was what's that kid's name? Abrego Garcia or whatever the hell his name is, who was an MS-13 guy, and a real piece of work at that. And yeah, the photo went out of him having a margarita with this guy. Now, that's taken out of context. Sure it is, Senator. Sure it is. And Rubio just called him on it.
Is a human trafficker, and that guy is a gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear in the days to come. You're going to see who you went to defend.
Senator,
I'm sorry,
please,
Mr. Chairman.
Secretary Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated
Senator,
comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You had
Secretary
your time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court of the United States because he hasn't done it under oath.
Here's another point, okay? There is a division in our government between the federal branch and the judicial branch. No judge in the judicial branch cannot tell me or the president how to conduct foreign policy. No judge can tell me how I have to outreach to a foreign partner or what I need to say to them. And if I do reach that foreign partner and talk to them, I have under no obligation to share that with the judiciary branch.
Correct.
Just like a judge cannot order me to negotiate with a foreign minister of Russia, they cannot order me to negotiate with a foreign minister or the president of El Salvador.
Correct.
And if I did negotiate with them, which we have responded to them, and we've told them, we've had communications with the president of El Salvador, I am under no obligation, under our division of powers in this country, and to share with the judicial branch how I conducted diplomacy of the United States. It would actually be counterproductive. If I started sharing with courts, or frankly, with the media, my conversations with foreign leaders and all of their details, no foreign leader would talk to me again, and we would break trust with them.
That is 100% true, by the way. And it makes sense. He literally, Marco Rubio, in that bite, he literally made probably the best argument I've ever heard for separation of powers. That is brilliantly said. I mean, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I am in awe. And now Rubio's a young guy. He's an 81 model or something like that. He's a fairly young guy. I might be off. He might be in the 70s, but not by much. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. If Vance is the front runner for 28, Rubio's making a damn good case for the VP slot. I mean, a fantastic case. This is just staggeringly good. I am beyond impressed right now with Marco Rubio. And I'm not the only one. People are taking notice of this. Honest to God, he is right now, in my humble opinion, he is the best cabinet appointment Trump has made out of both administrations, by far. Again, based on the last 4 months, and good on him. Keep it up.
I have complied with every court order. What I won't comply with is an order to disclose what I'm saying and what we're talking about with a foreign leader, because then they won't talk to me. Diplomacy doesn't work that way. About the student visas, let me say this. I don't deport anybody, and I don't snatch anybody. The State Department does not have officers in the street snatching everybody. What I do is revoke visas, and it's very simple. A visa is not a right. It is a privilege.
True.
People apply for student visas to come into the United States and study. And if you tell me that you're coming to the United States to lead campus crusades, to take over libraries and try to burn down buildings and acts of violence, we're not going to give you a visa.
Is that what Ms. Ostork did?
We're not going to give you a visa.
Is that what she
And if
did?
you do
Come
that,
on, Mr. Secretary.
and every single
You're
one of
just
these
blowing
cases, the
smoke
factors
here
are
now.
different.
Senator,
The bottom line is, if you're
Senator,
coming here to stir up trouble on our campuses, we will deny you a visa. And if you
Does
have
the
a
First
visa
Amendment
and we find
apply
you,
to
we'll
people
revoke
living in
it.
the United
And
States?
we're going to do more. There are more coming. We're going to continue to revoke the visas of people who are here as guests and are disrupting our higher education facilities. People are paying money. These kids pay money to go to school, and they have to walk through
Writing
a bunch
an
of
op-ed
lunatics
to the
who are
tough
here on student
newspapers
visas.
disrupting the
Simple
foreign
as
policy of the United
I want to
States.
do more. I hope we can
That's
find more of these people.
pathetic, Mr.
In fact, the other day, some guys led a riot. I forgot what university it was, and I asked, please, can you find the arrest records of all the people that were arrested at that riot at that campus? Because if any of them have a visa, we're going to revoke it.
I feel so much safer.
Yeah, it was either UW or Berkeley. We talked about Berkeley earlier, right? So I think that's what he's referring to, and I'm pretty sure it's University of Washington. But yeah, I mean, he's right. And Van Hollen's over there, well, doesn't the First Amendment mean anything? These are not United States citizens. They are here at the behest of the United States government, and they can be removed at the behest of the United States government. Like he said, it is a privilege, not a right. It is a privilege. You don't have the right to have a visa as a foreigner. You don't, coming into the United States. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to go through the process. Okay, and I can tell you right now that that visa, that residency, okay, the green card, if you want to talk about that, that's not easy to get. It takes a lot of time. I know this personally. Okay, not me, but personally. And it's insane to me to think and to listen to this braying jackass, Chris Van Hollen, try and tell the Secretary of State that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, there have been secretaries of state who didn't know what they were talking about, 100%. Let's see here. Well, anyway, that's a different story, and we don't have time to go into it right now. But in this case, Rubio's got him dialed in. I mean, dialed. Let's hear the last part of this.
All right, let's
lock up people like Ms. Ostork, Ms. Secretary.
We've had enough time on the subject. Thank you very much. And
so, at which point the the chairman calls a halt. But Van Hollen's just an idiot. He's grandstanding, and this is one of those things where, was it Homan who said this, or was it Rubio? I cannot remember. One of these people said, oh no, it was Kash Patel. It was Kash Patel who said, well, you know what? You're up there trying to get a 20-second campaign donation hit. And that's what Van Hollen's doing right there. His team will go back, and they want to be able to go in and cut and dice or slice and dice a video clip and turn it into Chris Van Hollen was defending the independence of our student, our guest students and whatnot, and student visas. He took Marco Rubio to the woodshed. When of course the exact opposite is what actually happened. So anyway, that's wow. Yeah, Rubio is kicking ass and taking names, and I love every single bit of it. And I hope it continues. I do. All right. That's actually going to go in the archives. That's just too good not to have. It really is. Let's see here. Archive. There it goes. And then we'll go back up here and delete it from here because why not, right? All right. I would be remiss if I didn't. I was telling you about Trump. And then we'll come back to Sideshow Bob here in just a second. So Trump has the president of South Africa over today. He's in the White House, right? In the Oval Office. And this was on Fox News. Let's and reposted by Colin Rugg and several other people's. But let's see what happens when Trump has this person in the Oval here, shall we?
Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you.
So this guy, okay, so a little bit of pause here. So President Trump and this guy are talking, right? They got the standard photo op where they're both sitting in front of the fireplace in the goofy looking, yellow chairs, gold colored chairs, whatever they are. And so Trump starts this, and this guy's thinking, this president from South Africa is thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be kind of fun. This is a video, right? And he's all smiles right now. Oh, but wait. So now it's setting in. Now he's like, wait. So he turns around and looks at Trump like, wait, is this a joke? And Trump's going, no, watch. Just watch. And the guy's looking at Trump. The guy's looking at Trump like, what the hell is this? What are you doing? What are you doing? And Trump's like, no, keep watching. Go ahead. And you can hear this. This is the African National Congress or whatever it is. This is whatever part is in the government. Video is of the own government calling for genocide against these farmers. And the president's name is Cyril Ramaphosa. Let's keep going here.
Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South African occupy land. That's who we are. Can we drop my membership from this useless parliament?
And there's the president of South Africa sitting there listening to this. Now, I wish Fox would have panned back to President Trump and President Ramaphosa because, I bet there was some glaring going on. So Trump's watching this. You fast forward a little bit through this here. So this is still going on. This is several minutes here. We're, 2 minutes in, 2.5. Okay, so now they're going to go back to him. So 2 minutes into this, 2.5 minutes into this, he is not comfortable. He's shifting in his chair. And again, President Trump is watching this. President Ramaphosa is not happy at all. He is not a happy man. He's trying not to look at it. He's looking at the camera. He's looking anywhere but at the camera or at the screen right now, or at the TV screen that's playing. I got this zoomed out here for you. Yeah, he is not a happy boy right now. Not at all. So let's hear what President Trump had to say. So again, this is 3.5 minutes into this.
Now, this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross.
Now, he is saying this, and for those of you who can't see this, he's saying this, and the president of South Africa, okay, now this is his country that's on the TV right now. Trump is saying this, and the president of South Africa is literally less than a meter away from him on his right. The balls our president has, they're not just big brass ones. These things are the size of a freaking aircraft carrier. He is calling out this guy in his house, and he's calling him out. And not just, well, boy, I really wish you guys would take this a little more seriously. He's saying, you look at this and you explain this to me. I mean, holy cow, right? This makes the thing, honest to God, people will say, well, the Zelensky thing. No offense, this makes the Zelensky thing romper room. That was just a disagreement, honestly. That was just a disagreement. Sorry, render came up for the video I was doing earlier. This is huge. I mean, I have never seen anybody do anything like this. Even Reagan, telling Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. That was nothing compared to this. This is amazing. I cannot tell you how amazing this is. And again, that guy Ramaphosa is not comfortable.
1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving. They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
I mean, so I stopped because that's the end of it, but Ramaphosa literally cannot look at Trump. He can't. He cannot make eye contact with him. And again, he's shifting around in his chair, as you saw if you're watching the video. If you didn't, he's moving around in his chair, shifting arms, leaning forward, leaning back. If that boy had pooped his pants, he would be less uncomfortable than he is right in this scene here. I mean, he came over. I'm betting, and this is the thing. Here's the thing. This is another shot across the bow to some of these world leaders. Joe Biden isn't there anymore. Barack Obama isn't there anymore. George W. Bush isn't there anymore. They're not there. This guy, he's not screwing around. President Trump. He's done playing. This isn't, let me put it this way. Even first term Trump is not there. This is a president, this is a Donald Trump who knows I can't run again. I'm done. Now, you see this Trump 2028 thing and all that stuff. Okay, fine, whatever. Come on. Trump knows he's constitutionally limited. And so he has nothing to lose. Now, you'll notice J.D. Vance isn't there, at least that I've seen. Maybe he is, and I just don't see it. And that might be to kind of insulate him a little bit from this. But Trump's not screwing around. And this guy, he just found out. And here's the thing. This, as much as the Zelensky thing was kind of a shot across the bow to the world leaders, this isn't just a shot across the bow. This is walking up to them in the middle of broad daylight, taking off your glove, putting lead shot in it, and whacking the person as hard as you can. That's what this is. So Emmanuel Macron, Keir Starmer, Mark Carney, anybody, the communist that runs Brazil now after Bolsonaro left or was taken out, so to speak, any of these people. Claudia Sheinbaum, you come to the White House, you better make damn sure you can defend whatever the hell is going on in your country. Because Trump's not afraid of you. Trump doesn't give a crap about what you think or what you say. He doesn't care. He will call you out, he will do it gladly, and he will not care. Because guess what? He knows that out there, outside the White House, and watching on the TV, in this case Fox News, he knows that the people watching this, the vast majority of those people, are loving this, are loving seeing the hypocrisy of Europe and the hypocrisy of certain parts of South Africa, or South America rather, and parts of Africa, and the hypocrisy here and there and everywhere. And, there's some in the United States too. And let's just face it, some of the domestic stuff Trump's doing, not as keen on. We talked about that. But stuff like this, we're eating that up. We love it. That's where he's going for. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, that's holy cow. Wow. That is something I've never seen before, and I don't know that we'll ever see that again. But given President Trump's predilections, maybe we will. Who knows? Okay. I want to go back to, because this popped up while we were talking about, I want to do two quick things because we're pretty long in this segment already. First of all, Sideshow Bob. Bobo just signed into law also the stupid policy requiring gun owners to pay for a permit. Now, Keith Swank, the sheriff of the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, has already said, yeah, that's not happening. I'm not doing that. Nope, not going to happen. Not in Pierce County. And I'm hoping the rest of the sheriffs in Washington State will say this exact same thing, because it needs to happen. This is completely, utterly unconstitutional. So I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. Now, going to a more national level. This is Representative Thompson, a Democrat. I don't know from where. This was posted by the National Association of Gun Rights. And let's hear what Representative Thompson had to say about suppressor ownership.
As a combat veteran, a lifelong hunter and gun owner, I can tell you.
Okay, so whenever a liberal says they are either a combat veteran, a gun owner, or hunter, take whatever they say next with a lot of salt, a whole huge amount of grains of salt, because chances are they're going to say there's something that they are anti-gun. That's the precursor to it. It's kind of like common sense. Anytime a liberal says that, whatever they say next is probably anything but common sense. So let's finish this, shall we?
This provision has nothing at all to do with hearing protection.
Okay, so you're not a hunter, clearly. You're not a gun owner, and I'm willing to bet your combat experience, I'd love to see what that is. Because if you're about to tell me that making silencers, which reduce the report of a firearm, thereby making it so that it doesn't deafen you with the first shot, has nothing to do with hearing protection. If you're telling me that has nothing to do with hearing protection, you are an idiot.
But it has everything to do with making money for a certain segment of the gun industry.
No, it has everything to do with taking money out of the hands of the government via getting rid of the stupid $200 transfer tax and regulating, which, by the way, is unconstitutional, firearm accessories.
If you're concerned about protecting hearing from gunfire, buy and use earplugs. I urge members to support these two amendments as a combat.
Buy and use earplugs. Okay, I apologize for what I'm about to say because it will be profane. Gee, dumb shit, what do you think we're doing now? Frankly, what do you think we're doing now, you idiot? And by the way, do me a favor there, congressman. Since you're a combat veteran, a hunter, and a gun owner, do me a favor. Go into an enclosed space like, say, a house, a shoot house, okay? And I want you to walk in there, even with hearing protection on, okay? And you're going to face an opposing force of more than one person. And I want you to light off an AR-15, okay? And then tell me where, even with your earplugs in, your fancy earplugs, tell me where those two people are and if you can hear them maneuvering into position to kill you. You won't be able to, because in an enclosed space, even with hearing protection, that firearm is very loud. And guess what? Since you have ears on, you are also being limited in what you can hear in your surroundings. Okay? That's what happens. You do not hear the rest of the world as well. Now, there are fancy hearing aids, or hearing protection that now, where once you get above a certain threshold, it'll automatically shut off. Okay. So it doesn't mute the rest of the world per se, but it'll mute the gunshot. Okay. That's all fine and good, but still you have something in your ear. And unless those things are directional, which not always the case, not very good directional, or good in a way of direction, what good are they? And plus, let's go back to the base argument here. How many crimes that have been committed since 1934 have involved a suppressor, a legally owned suppressor on a legally owned firearm by a person legally able to possess both? How many? I'm curious. And then let's look at it in any aspect, any suppressor, legally or owned or otherwise. Okay, final thought on this. One thing you will see happen, and I'm going to predict this right here and now, right here and now. So mark my words. If the HPA goes through, the Hearing Protection Act goes through, you will see states like California, like Washington, like Oregon. California is already there. But you'll see Washington and Oregon and a few other states that are blue but allow suppressor possession, you will see them move very quickly, especially if, like Washington, they have majorities for their legislative branches and governorships. You will see them move to and effectively do whatever it takes to get it through, banning suppressor purchasing and transfer or ownership in general. You will see that happen very, very quickly. And of course, then what's going to happen is lawsuits, lots of lawsuits. So that's one thing I guess if I were the National Association of Gun Rights, the GOA, the Firearms Policy Coalition, the Second Amendment Foundation, the National Rifle Association, blah, 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 blah. One thing that I would prepare for is get these lawsuits in the states where this is likely to happen, get them ready to go so that way, the second it's filed, we challenge it in court. 100%. And it needs to be anywhere this is possible. Because that will happen. I will, let me put it this way. I will bet an insane amount of money. The first thing that's going to happen is there will be attempts to ban either with grandfathering or without suppressor ownership outright at a state level. Guaranteed. Because you can already do it. There are already states where you can't own a suppressor. Right? Because according to the legal terms, well, it's not a firearm. It's an accessory. So the second suppressors come off the NFA, you will see that happen. Guaranteed. And no one's talking about that, and they should be. I'm the first person to mention that as far as I know. So, all right, folks, this has been the second segment of the Chris Richman Show for Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. Appreciate you joining me today. Look forward to speaking with you tomorrow on Thursday, and we'll get it done then. All right, y'all have a great day. We'll see you soon. God bless you.